Well, with me now is Angela Regal, former Shadow Business Secretary, who's standing against Jeremy Corbyn for the leadership, as you probably realised by now. Hello, good evening.
Hi.
Just watching that, are you sure you're in the right party with those people?
I have been a Labour Party member for 40 years. I've dedicated my life to the Labour Party, and I will stay in the Labour Party, whatever happens. What my leadership challenge is about is saving and reuniting the Labour Party so that it can be an effective opposition in Parliament, so that we can make our democracy work and, I hope, heal our country and save it from perpetual Conservative governments.
OK, you said a lot in that answer. Firstly, you will remain in the Labour Party because there are those saying it's over, you cannot.
No, the Labour Party is my party. I was born into it. Right. There are people that have come back into it recently. You saw and heard from some of them in that piece. They were thrown out in the 1990s. They're back in, and you can see what they're doing. I have to stand up to that kind of bullying, and I will continue to stand up to it.
Now, if there's a motion of no confidence in you by your local party, you heard what the gentleman said. You
Paul
said to
Davis,
Corbyn, get out,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You've failed a motion of no confidence. Will you stand aside from that seat? I mean, what will you do if they deselect you?
Well, there's no question of me being deselected at the moment. What I'm doing is trying to say that the Labour Party was created to be the voice of working people in Parliament, to make certain that those who create the wealth in our country actually get a fair share of the opportunities and the income that comes from that wealth. That is the historic role of the Labour Party. To do that, you have to be effective in Parliament. I have tried to work with Jeremy for 9 months. He has lost the confidence of his parliamentary colleagues and cannot lead in Parliament. He is also failing to lead on the doorstep because he's not communicating or connecting with the 9 million people who voted Labour at the last election. And we have a duty as Labour Party members of Parliament to put that case to him.
Right, and I will get to all of that. I mean, we saw, you know, a brick thrown through your constituency office window.
Yes.
Do you think it is Labour Party members of any kind who are responsible for the violence, for the death threats, for the hate that we've seen?
There's a lot of hate, there's a lot of death. There were death threats, I've been told, tonight. There's a lot of vitriol. And I have to say that my office workers have to work in that environment, and you heard from one of them tonight. They're just trying to do their job. They shouldn't be subjected to this kind of approach. It's happening up and down the country.
Is it Jeremy Corbyn's
bullying?
Is it Jeremy?
And it should stop. And Jeremy should tell his supporters who are orchestrating this on social media to stop it.
Right. And you don't think he's done enough so far?
I don't think he's shown leadership there either.
Right. You've already said the Labour Party is your party.
Yes.
So we just have to face the possibility that you're not going to win the leadership election.
I am in
and
this...
Jeremy Corbyn will be there.
Listen,
now, what is going to happen from your point of view? What happens?
I'm not going to speculate about what will happen if I lose. I'm in this leadership election to win it. We need to be an effective Labour Party going forwards, which puts a compelling case to the British people that is an anti-Tory case. There are huge challenges following the Brexit vote. We've got to make certain that the effects of that Brexit vote aren't visited upon communities that have already suffered from Tory cuts and austerity.
I understand.
We've got to be effective.
Of course
We've got principles in the Labour Party. We have to put them into effect by contesting government, and that is the argument we're having in the party at the moment.
No, but I understand that. But look, let's suppose Theresa May calls a general election next spring. It's perfectly possible she'll decide to do that.
I expect there will be an early
Would you be able to look in the
election.
eyes of the British public and say, vote for Jeremy Corbyn to be your Prime Minister?
Well, I hope we will.
Given everything you've said about it.
We are having a leadership election. I have joined in that leadership election to win it because I think Jeremy has opened up the party to new ideas. He's changed the direction of the party. He now needs to stand aside so other people can take this forward and communicate properly with Labour voters. And I would say to the 9 million Labour voters out there, there's 2 days next week when you can actually pay £25, help save the Labour Party, make our democracy work and help me heal our country. Join as a registered supporter.
Right, so you're literally urging the country to join to get Corbyn out?
That is precisely what I think should happen. Join us in this battle. Let us win the Labour Party back for parliamentary democracy. We need people to persuade the country and speak to the country, not just protest.
It is £25 is quite expensive to get a vote.
I think it's a pretty good investment for the whole future of democracy.
If there was an election next spring or sooner, and Jeremy Corbyn was leader, how do you think Labour would do?
Well, I think the evidence, unfortunately, is clear. We are 8% behind in the polls in general now when we should be ahead. We lost seats in the local elections despite all our efforts. We've lost the referendum because the voters saw the ambiguity that Jeremy had during that referendum for the EU, and that is going to cause enormous damage. In the marginals, we are 14% behind. So we have to do something. And we have to do it quickly if we're going to prevent perpetual Conservative rule, which will damage our areas and damage the interests of Labour voters.
You have in the campaign so far, you've tried to downplay the policy differences between you and Jeremy Corbyn. You said it's not a left-right thing.
Well, I'm on the left. I didn't walk
that's
away.
Obviously, people debate that. But
I did not walk away last year when Jeremy was elected.
So
I tried to serve until it was impossible to carry on.
Why do you think then that the party under you will win when it will lose so badly under Jeremy Corbyn?
Look, I think you need a more effective communicator. I think you need somebody that actually reaches out to voters. Jeremy talks to people who don't really believe in parliamentary democracy. He is a protester. He's not a persuader of people. He has done a good thing by switching the way that the Labour Party works. Now we need somebody else to take it forwards.
Owen Smith, another candidate, potentially. We think he will throw his hat into the ring tomorrow or soon thereafter. It's not going to work so well for the Corbyn challengers if there are two of you fighting. Will you stand aside if he looks like the stronger of the two of you, the one most likely to beat Corbyn?
I think it's about time we had a woman leader of the Labour Party elected. We've now got the Conservatives on the second woman Prime Minister. We are the party of equality that has always worked in this agenda. It's about time that we had a woman leader.
So you won't stand aside. So basically you'll have two splits in the party, you versus Owen and the two of you versus Corbyn.
I don't know whether Owen's going to stand, but I'm willing to have this debate in the full view of the party members. Now we're going to have a contest. I'm looking forward to it.
Which is more important to you, though, actually? This is an important question. Is it more important to you that you become the leader or that Jeremy Corbyn ceases to be the leader? Is it about stopping Corbyn or is it about you leading?
Well, I think I've got a good experience and leadership capabilities to take us forwards into this very, very different and challenging era. And that's the debate we're going to be having.
But let's be honest, it is about Corbyn, isn't it? It's about stopping Corbyn.
I think it's almost impossible for somebody who's lost the support of the vast majority of their parliamentary party to carry on as leader of the parliamentary party, which is the first part of the job description of the leader of the Labour Party. It's in clause 1 of our constitution.
There was a moment when I wondered whether you would make a pitch to the grief-stricken Remainers. There must be 60 million people voted for Remain. There must be 1 million who really feel very strongly about it, or 2 million, for them to come and support you. But you've been actually a little vague on the sort of Brexit plans you have. And so maybe they're not feeling like they're going to pay £25 to vote for you because you're not
I think one of the policy differences between me and Jeremy, on the day after the referendum, Jeremy came out and said Article 50 should be triggered straight away. I think that would be a profound mistake. I think we have to be very careful in the way in which we begin to disentangle from the European Union, and we have to do it in a way which is least likely to hurt those communities I'm particularly concerned about, those poorer communities who have already been badly hit by Tory cuts.
People, some I would say more sympathetic to your side of this argument than Corbyn's, have looked at the result tonight at the NEC. They've said Corbyn is going to win. This is the death of the Labour Party as we know it. I wonder whether you look at that. You look at these members who are going to trying to get you deselected, confidence motion in you. You look at the violence internally, at the vitriol in the debate, and don't you wonder whether the marriage between this radical left and establishment left, is over? Do you never wonder that?
I think it's important that we take the broad base of the Labour Party with us. I don't think that some of the people that have joined and the way they're behaving is acceptable behaviour in British politics. It coarsens our democracy, and I think it needs to be called out for the bullying it is. I'm standing up to it. Everybody else needs to stand up to it. And I think Jeremy Corbyn needs to condemn it and stop it happening.
Angela Regal, thank you very much.